Biblical scholars Michael Licona and Dale Allison Jr. have both written impressive books called, you guessed it, The Resurrection of Jesus. But while their titles are the same, their conclusions are quite different. Do you believe that the resurrection can be justified as a point of history?
No, I don't think it can be established that way.
The case for the resurrection of Jesus, in my opinion, is pretty solid.
But even those who believe the evidence is solid don't argue that it's abundant. Yes, there are the resurrection narratives in the four Gospels, but they diverge on many of the details. Plus, they were written decades after the assumed fact. Actually, the earliest known written account of the resurrection appears in the Apostle Paul's first letter to the Corinthians.
We would ideally want interviews with the people back there in AD 30 or 33 when all this supposedly happened, but that's just not what we have.
The skeptics have modern science and our everyday experience on their side, of course, but they still have to explain how an enduring world religion emerged from the extraordinary claim that a first-century Jewish peasant rose from the dead. And as we'll see, that might not be so easy. Let's start with the skeptical claim that Jesus was a myth. After all, the life, death, and rebirth of Jesus aligns with several other heroic mythical figures, from the Egyptian Osiris to the Greek Hercules. So why shouldn't the Easter story and its supernatural elements be dismissed as just another myth? Do you believe that there is an objective truth about whether Jesus was in fact a man?
Oh yes, I mean, we have evidence that Jesus was alive, he was a man, he was teaching, he was healing.
This wasn't just a myth. He existed.
Absolutely. We have a number of non-Christian sources early on who mentioned Jesus as a historical person. Josephus, Jewish historian, 1st century. Tacitus, Roman historian, early 2nd century. So yeah, you got non-Christians who, in antiquity, who mentioned him relatively close to Jesus.
Those non-Christian historians agree. Jesus lived, he had followers, and he was crucified.
Jesus is a real person, and if he were not a real person, people would not have cared about him.
The archaeological record also indicates that other characters in the story really existed. Here at the Israel Museum, senior curator David Mavorak showed us this ossuary. It's a bone box inscribed with the name of Caiaphas. He was the Jewish high priest who plots Jesus' death. And here is a 1st century column inscribed with the name of Pontius Pilate, the Roman official who condemned Jesus to the cross.
This is a fantastic testimony to the existence of this very notorious guy. So we have the two bad guys from the story of the trial and crucifixion of Jesus on our archaeological artifacts, which is something we rarely have for other historical figures.
We walked with Professor Helt along the Via Dolorosa, traditionally venerated as the path that Jesus walked with his cross. But this has these commemorative moments along it, and we are now at one of the most powerful ones, if not the most powerful.
Yeah, here we are at an indent in the stone, and you see it fits like a hand. And so the idea is that Jesus here again, he had so much suffering from the burden, and he can't continue walking any longer. I think it is worn by time, and people put their hands here.
Wow,
and
literally wore away the stone.
Yeah. It is really very, very powerful.
It's funny, when you're explaining this to me, your cheeks get red. They do. You get flushed with emotion about it.
Yeah. But you know, it's also something else. When you are praying, you are filled with the Holy Spirit.
Is that what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks be to God.
I need to touch the rock then.
Go ahead.
Amazing that it's been worn down by so many different people looking to tap in, you know? Powerful, yes, but historically accurate? That's debatable.
I mean, it has a lovely history, but nobody knows that that's the route that Jesus would have taken. It doesn't belong to history.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.